Welcome everyone to our live webinar for reverse auction demo. My name is Alina. I am in charge of the customer success team in Prokuria. I know you all have a very busy schedule, so thank you very much for taking the time to be with us. A few housekeeping items before we get started. My colleague Eugene and I will share with you today how to launch a reverse auction in Prokuria for generating both cost and time savings. This should take us about 20 minutes, and at the end of the presentation, we'll have a Q&A session for 5 minutes. Please feel free to ask questions through the chat at any point during the presentation. We will make sure to respond in the final part of the webinar in the Q&A session. If we'll not manage to address all your questions today, we'll make sure to come back to you by email. Also, we will get back to everyone with a recording of the webinar. Most probably will happen tomorrow. Please feel free to rewatch it, get back to us with questions, or share it with your colleagues. So this being said, I think we're ready to start. Eugene, you can take over from here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alina. Hello, everyone. My name is Eugene, and I'm a business development manager at Prokuria. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time to join our webinar. We hope that you will find the information useful and helpful for your sourcing needs going further. If you have joined this demo, you're probably starting to notice that organizing your sourcing events or your supplier database just with emails and Excel files isn't good enough or efficient anymore. Maybe you're looking for a system to help you stay on top of everything. Well, that's what Prokuria is. It's a cloud-based platform used for automating sourcing and supplier management. When we talk about sourcing, we mean launching events like RFIs, RFQs, RFPs, but also reverse auctions, Dutch auctions, or dynamic allocation auctions. Related to supplier management, our tool can help with supplier relationship management, segmentation, performance reviews, onboarding, and scorecards. Now that you're familiarized with what Prokuria does, let's shortly go through the agenda of today's webinar, and I will shortly share my screen. So, for today's demo, we will first talk about a reverse auction overview, where I'll shortly provide some context to the reverse auction. After that, we will go through a reverse auction demo in Prokuria, where I will walk you through an actual reverse auction in our platform. As Elena mentioned, at any time of the presentation, please feel free to ask any question through the chat, to which we will respond in the final part of the webinar, which will be the Q&A session. So now let's go to the reverse auction overview. Basically, regarding the reverse auction, looking at the audience here today, I'm certain the information will not necessarily be something new, but as I said earlier, it will only serve to provide some context to the webinar. A reverse auction is a fixed duration sourcing event in which multiple suppliers compete for certain products or services by bidding the price down. From our experience and our clients' experience as well, this type of sourcing event works best in a buyer's market for sourcing commodities and simple services. Some examples would include raw materials, office supplies, accounting services, etc. The entire concept of the reverse auction is to have direct and transparent competition between suppliers. Therefore, it is great to have around 5 to 7 or even more suppliers bidding in a reverse auction. There are many advantages to the reverse auction, like the ability to generate cost savings and maximize time savings. Usually the sweet spot for a reverse auction duration is somewhere close to 30 minutes, not taking into consideration all potential extensions. We will go more in depth on this in the actual demo. Also, as the suppliers compete by lowering the price, your cost savings will go up. From our experience, an average figure will be between 5 to 10% cost savings, especially if we are operating in a buyer's market, which can generate hundreds of thousands of euros in cost savings. Obviously, there are also disadvantages to reverse auction. For example, if the number of suppliers that can offer a certain good or service is very low, then the auction is bound in most cases to not be successful. Competition is low, the changes in the bids will be insignificant, and hence the potential for cost savings goes down drastically. This is why we would recommend reverse auctions when there is a healthy number of suppliers that can offer those particular goods or services. Also, there is another risk of focusing on the best price but compromising on quality, which is something that we don't want to happen. A buyer must be very adamant in enforcing and communicating the required specifications to the suppliers, ensuring they get the best goods or services. For this, we would recommend running an RFI or an RFQ beforehand to acquire all the necessary information from the suppliers, qualify the ones which meet all the quality requirements and any other requirements as well, and then go for the maximum cost savings within a reverse auction. Now that we've covered the basics of the reverse auction, let's jump right into the platform and let's see how the auction works. So now I will just go to the platform. Now what we see here is the main dashboard, the Prokuria, where we see all our active sourcing events, and all these events are organized into projects. The projects can be related to departments, where we have here some examples of logistics, for example, or IT department. Also, projects can be related to the products that we're buying, to subsidiaries, however you need to organize them. Now, if we go to the events page, this is where we will see all our sourcing events, where we can filter them by different criteria. Here we can also group them. There is a lot of possibility here for the sourcing events. In order to add a reverse auction, we just click on Add Event, and then we go the reverse auction. We select the project for this event, and then we're good to go. So for the purpose of this demo, let's suppose that we want to organize a reverse auction for the IT department and buy IT equipment like laptops, displays, and headphone sets. I've already prepared some information, so let's go through it together. On the general information section, we will give a name to the auction, which I will do right now, and also what we're going to do is we will provide a description for the auction. The description must be as detailed as possible, as the suppliers will be informed of this, and they will need to have as much information as possible regarding the auction. Next, we will set the currency in which want to receive the bids. We can also set a budget that the suppliers won't be able to see, and we can also define cost centers. The cooldown period refers to a certain period of time before the auction ends. I will just give you an example. If we set the cooldown period to 2 minutes, then in the last 2 minutes of the auction, if a bid is placed that changes the ranking and that certain bid gets the first ranking, then the end time of the auction is automatically reset to 2 minutes. And this happens until no one submits any bids in the last 2 minutes that change the first place. Of course, this is just an example. You can set the cooldown period to how many minutes you need. Word of advice: if you give a long cooldown period, be prepared for a long extension of the auction. We will then set the start date and an end date. We will just put the dates of today. We can put the starting time whenever we need. Usually, you should give some time to the suppliers to prepare. However, we will start the auction right away, so we see exactly how it works. So let me just put some information real quick. And after that, on the advanced settings page is where the strategic part of the auction happens. We can choose to show the best bid to the suppliers, so they know at all times what is the best bid and what they need to bid in order to get to the first place. You can choose to show them their ranking, so they know what is the ranking in the auction. And now is where things get interesting. We can either have suppliers submit bids for all of the items, so for the total, or we can submit bids on an item level, which we will go for. So suppliers submit bids for each of the items. They can know the best bid for each item and also the ranking for each item. Of course, if you as a buyer elect to show them that info through the advanced settings. As I said, we will go with an auction at an item level, and it's also what most of our clients are using. It provides you with more in-depth analysis of each item, and there is also the case where, let's say, some suppliers won't bid on all the items. Maybe they can provide some of the products or services that are auctioned. This way, they also get a chance at winning, at least on the items that they will bid on. It's up to you whether or not, in the end, you want to work with only one supplier or you are open to working with multiple ones. This depends on your strategy alone. After choosing the auction at item level, we can choose whether we want to have a starting price and minimum step for the whole line or for each unit of measure. The starting price is the maximum amount that the suppliers can bid, and they will only decrease the bids from there. How much they decrease per each bid, you can decide via the minimum step, or decrement, which is the minimum amount by which they must decrease each bid. For the purpose of this demo, we'll go for starting price and minimum step per each unit of measure. You'll get a better sense of this as we run the auction, which will happen shortly. On the suppliers section, we will choose all the suppliers that we want to participate in the auction. All suppliers must already be in Prokuria, in the Supplier Directory. We'll just do a very short detour here to show you how the Supplier Directory looks like. So basically, this is how we store all the suppliers in Prokuria. We have a lot of criteria here. We can filter by country, category, or whatever criteria we require. So this is how all the suppliers, let's say, look like in Prokuria. In order to add them to the auction, we can either add them by category, which I will do right now. So I'll just add all the suppliers from the IT equipment category, or we can also add them via their email address, which I have also done. On the documents part, if needed, you can add documents for the suppliers to download and review in case you want them to review, let's say, some specs. I will just add some specs here. And finally, on the items part, we will add the products or services we want to auction. We can add them either manually, so we can add them one by one, or if there are multiple items, we can do them by an Excel import. We have a template which we download and then we upload. I have already prepared the file. I just import it, and then we will see here the items. So we would like to buy Apple MacBooks, headphone sets, and displays. We see that we will want to buy 10 of each, and then we have the ability to add our starting price and minimum decrement for each of the products. I will just add some here for the suppliers to know. Just simply add some values. Of course, you can. It is your choice whether you want to provide these values or not. But for the purpose of this demo, we will simply go with the starting price and a minimum step. Now that all the information has been filled in, all we have to do is publish the auction, and the suppliers will receive an email invitation, which I will show you shortly. I will just go and publish the auction right now. And then once we receive the green light that the auction has been published, which has just happened, I will just go and show you what happens on the supplier side. Basically, all the suppliers will receive an email invitation that looks like this. You have a short introduction, the name of the auction, you have the start time, the end time, and also the description of the event, so they know exactly what they are going into. Let's say all the suppliers need to do here is click on this button on the view event, and what happens is they will be redirected to a secure response page where they will agree to the terms and conditions of Prokuria, and after that they will be redirected to a secure response page. Here they can choose to participate or decline the event. Either way, you as a buyer will be notified of their decision via email. One very important feature of Prokuria is that the suppliers do not need a username and password to access Prokuria. There is no supplier portal in our platform. All the suppliers have to do is access the link provided via email, which is a unique and secure link, accept the terms and conditions of Prokuria, and then they are good to go. We also have a white labeling feature, which among other things can enable you to have your own terms and conditions instead of Prokuria's. You can also have your own logo, the invitation email can come from your own domain, etc. To learn more about this, please get in contact with us via the contact form on our website. Now let's go back to the auction, and let's choose to participate. Once we choose to participate, we see all the information very well organized and structured in one place. We can download the documents if needed and review them. And we see when is the start date, the end date. So we have all the information in one place. And we get to the part that interests us as suppliers the most. And we come to the bidding part, where we will see, as the buyer has enabled us to see, the starting price and the minimum step. This is basically starting price is the maximum bid that we can put at the beginning. So let's say we want to put like 2,100 per each item, because that is how we have chosen to bid. That's how the buyer has chosen. If I would bid like this, then I would be informed by the platform that the first bid must be lower or equal to the starting price. So what I can do here is basically bid 2,000, and let's go and bid. I'll just bid for like the starting price in the beginning and see what happens from here. So now I see that I am ranked first. Most likely I am the first supplier that's that has submitted any bids. Now we see that already the ranking has modified. So Alina is already hard at work submitting bids as well. We see here that I am the first ranked, but I am not the only bidder with this offer. And as the buyer has enabled this, I also see what is the best bid. So in this situation for the headphones, we see that the best bid is 470. And what I can do here is, let's say I'll just go and submit a better bid, and automatically I should see my ranking go up as first. So these refresh in real time. And obviously, this is the part where suppliers do all their calculations and see exactly what types of bids they can offer in order to remain competitive. So here again, we see that some rankings have modified. For the displays, I'm on the third place, but again, I see what is the best bid. And for example, let's also showcase how the minimum step works. So if I want to submit, let's say I'll just decrease by 1. Let's say this is my prerogative. What would happen here is it will inform us that the minimum step for our bid is the following, and my bid must be lower or equal to the following value. So these starting price and minimum step are very important, and we need to stay clear of this. Now, for example, if I will again submit a bid which is better than the best bid, I will go and be ranked first. And obviously, this continues until the end of the auction. And the more suppliers, the merrier, as obviously these changes would happen more often. Also, let's go through other features of Prokuria. Let's suppose that myself as a supplier right now, I want to address a question to the buyer. Maybe some text specs haven't been very clear. I can communicate with the buyer via the message center, so there's no need for phone calls or unnecessary emails in the middle of the auction. We just send a message real quick. So let's say text specs not clear. I'll just assign a type. I can also add a comment. I can add some files, and I'll just send this, and the buyer will be notified of this message. So basically, what happens is if I go on the buyer side, which I have now just did, I'll just do a quick refresh, and on the message center, I'll just see this. I'll just see the message of the supplier, where I can, in the comment section, I can start an internal thread with the other users of Prokuria. Maybe I want to involve someone from commercial. Let's say I want some help when I submit this message. That person will receive an email notification, will come and respond, help us, and after that, when we have all the information, we can answer to the supplier and obviously solve the issue. The thing is here that we would advise to keep all this messaging at a minimum, as for the suppliers to have time to submit all the bids, and focus obviously on getting the best possible bids. Okay, so this is we have also covered the message center. Now, what I want to show you is, again, we are on the buyer side. So what happens here on the responses section, we see exactly the level of engagement with our suppliers. So we see who hasn't read the invitation, who has read it, who has responded, and who has declined. On the suppliers part, we see exactly who has done this, and we have a clear audit log of when this has happened. And now, if we go on the compare responses section, here we will see also we'll have a very comprehensive view of all the bids. We see here all the rankings of all the suppliers, and now, as suppliers submit other bids, this view, as you have just seen, automatically refreshes with all the bids, and we know exactly when they have been submitted. So it's excellent for auditing purposes. You have all the information here. So again, Alina has submitted a bid, and it has just refreshed in this view. On the compare bids part, when the auction ends, basically when the auction ends, we will have the option here to mark all the items with which we want to buy, and we will also be able to send emails to the suppliers with whom we want to work with, and we can also export the bids in Excel to maybe do some further analysis if required. But at any time during the auction, we will see here the best bids for each item from each supplier. So you also have all this this information in one place, very easy to follow.
Okay, we wanted to show how the cooldown period works. So basically, when the event reaches the last 2 minutes, when a supplier submits a better bid than one of the for at least one of the items, then the reverse auction will be extended with those 2 minutes that we have chosen to be like the cooldown period. You can, of course, have multiple. Yeah, I think we can hear you, Eugene.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's great.
Okay, that's
okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I just want to finish with the extension period, and then we can take the questions because we do have some, and
Sure.
I'm really happy to answer. Okay, so basically what Eugene was mentioning is that if you choose to have like a cooldown period for 2 minutes, then it's great. It'll be really dynamic for the suppliers to offer the last bid. From our experience and what we've seen with our customer, this is where the magic happens in the last minutes that you choose to provide to your suppliers. They will start bidding really, really hard, and hopefully this is a really good sign for you. You may get to have your event extended for several times. So when running your first reverse auction, maybe you can test with 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and however you know that it's best for your suppliers, you will choose the actual number of minutes. Okay, so I think this concludes our demo for the e-auction. If you want to add something else, Eugene, before I ask the question, you can do that.
Thank you very much, Alina. Just before the Q&A section, I would like to let everyone know that in order to test and experience what we've shown you and more, we have a 2-week free trial that you can access on our site, www.prokuria.com. You just click on Start Free Trial, no credit card or such things required. Simply test the platform, see if it's a fit for you, and if you want to go more in depth or have any questions, we can schedule another demo with you and your team. Simply contact us via the contact form on our website, and we will just be in touch. Now, Alina, thank you, and let's see what questions we have from the audience.
Yeah. Thank you, Eugene, as well for the great presentation. First question is, can you show me how would I add my suppliers to Prokuria?
Sure.
If you can share, yeah, right. If you can share the supplier directory, it will be great.
Yeah, exactly. So to put it in a nutshell, in order to add new suppliers, there are 2 main methods. So this is the supplier directory, as I've shown earlier. And in order to add, let's say if you have many suppliers, we just have an import with Excel functionality, or if we want to add them one by one, we have here the add supplier button, where we have many sections where we can, have much information regarding each of our suppliers. Shortly going through some of the sections. In the summary section, we have some general information. In the internal info, we talk about the segmentation of each of the suppliers, their status, categories, and so on. And the most important thing here I would stress is the contacts part. So each supplier needs to have at least one contact associated to it, because when you send out either reverse auctions or RFQs, you would need to have like a contact. So we have like a person and also an email address, because as you've seen, we are sending invitations through email. So this has been in a nutshell how we add suppliers into our platform.
Great, thank you. A second question is asking us, we have only organized RFQs with our suppliers. Could you help us run reverse auctions through your platform? I'll take this one as it for sure applied to for my team and I. So basically what we do at Prokuria, we are really focusing on the successful implementation of the platform. We'll do our best to assist you when running your first sourcing event through Prokuria. We do have some steps that we can share with you. We have the initial training for your team. We offer step-by-step assistance with your first sourcing events and flows. Either we talk about reverse auction, or even if you want to organize first another with you and then the reverse auction. Also, we can help with the initial communication for suppliers. We have templates that we can share with you, email templates. You can send those email templates to your suppliers before they first participate to an event hosted in Prokuria. This way, they will know how to use correctly the platform and to minimize the number of questions you get. Another knowledge that we can share with you, it's our online knowledge base and manuals for using the platform. We also have their information about the internal buyers and also a special dedicated section for suppliers. I hope I've provided the full answer. Okay, and one last question, Eugene. I know we've already reached the half an hour limit time. We have a question related to what about if we have 100 items? Is there the option to upload through Excel? If you can, I think in a draft event, right? If you can just show.
Sure. So in a reverse auction, if we go, just a second. Definitely, we can add as many items as are required. Again, here we only have like 3, as in the previous example. However, if we go on the import items part, we would simply download the template spreadsheet. We would complete this template with all the items. So let's say 100 items. Now it just shows me the items that are already there. Let's say we want to also add other 97 or however many items we need. We just complete this. We then upload the file, and that's how you upload 100 items in your reverse auction.
And I also want to add that this is buyer's perspective, right? So buyer can upload items, and it also applies to the supplier. Basically, yes. When he will respond, he can also download the template, fill in the bits, and then upload it. So we've definitely seen in Prokuria reverse auction for a lot of items, and this is how everything was handled. We have some other questions, but we'll make sure to answer by email. I think this concludes our webinar. I hope you all find it useful. Again, thank you very much for joining and being with us today. We will send you the recording and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.